Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Vechain, see what's been going on most recently and what I would expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you'll be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Now if you have not yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check it out today. Okay guys, let's get into this and waste no more time, right? Vechain paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is our data source here. So obviously we're tracking this big WXY to the upside, right? And you know, it's been a little bit boring just trading sideways for a very long time, and this is, you know, a bit of a stop before we pull down into the lower ranges, right? But we do need to kind of have these kind of natural pauses in time just to allow for corrections, specifically with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's kind of ready to push up a little bit now, so I would expect Vechain to kind of follow that. 4% is the theoretical high, but I am concerned. I do think a 3.66 level is more probable, and that's really because of this wick over here. So if I were to go ahead and just draw that on, you can see here 3.666 is essentially where I think we might find some resistance. It's a little bit higher than our W wave, but it's definitely short of our 1-to-1 ratio. Now obviously with our moving down to this range here is actually stopping us out a little bit, so what I can do is I can take this high, take this low, grab that right there, transpose that over to our recent low, which comes in at 2.8 rather than 2.7, and you can see that it's actually telling us that we can go up now to about 4.92. okay, so it's a little bit more, but not too much more. Okay, we can then obviously refine this movement as well. So what does this mean? Well, it means that this area right here, right, this 3.66 is a 702. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with the 702 on the Fibonacci retracement tool isn't something that is an area that is added automatically. It's something you have to add in separately, but it resonates incredibly well with Bitcoin and a few altcoins. And considering 3.66 here cent-wise comes on that 702 line, I would say that that's going to present ourselves with a bit of resistance. So for me, I'm thinking about 3.66. Although 4 cent is possible, I would like 4 cent. I would be really cautious around 6.6 just to see whether or not we can actually get through that resistance line up there. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking for. We are looking for that move to the upside. Now, ultimately, we've got nothing more than a three-wave move and a three-wave move at the moment. So we might end up with a 5-wave move or a 3-wave move coming up here. We don't know which this is yet, so we're going to just have to kind of sit back and wait to see exactly what happens here on this next journey to the upside. Now, if I bring the stochastic RSI into play on this hourly chart, you can see that we've got room to go in either direction. I would say that we are more than likely going to move up and then come up into the overbought area and then pull back down a little bit on this hourly chart. Now, if we check the 4 hourly, we're actually in an okay spot here, so we've got some progression to have, and the 8 hourly is completely reset, which is good. The daily will come back up into overbought, in my opinion, before we actually go back down into the next set of lows, which will come after we hit the high point, at least 3.6, in my opinion. So essentially that's kind of what we're looking at, and this is now the bottom, so I was a little bit off, which is very frustrating. It wasn't to 2.75, it was 2.8. Let me just check 2.8. Where are you? Get the right candle wick, that helps. 2.809. So that's kind of where we actually landed, which is a little bit frustrating that I was off there, so apologies on that. But yeah, these things, they don't always go for that 1-to-1 ratio, even though it's the most common. In this case here, we actually see that we failed to actually do that. But there you go. So we can see that we hit that low of 2.809, and we're looking to move up to about 4.09, but I'm cautious, and I would say 3.6 is as an area that I'm hyper focused on, because 702 and previous resistance or was previous support could become resistance. Once all that is done, of course, we can acknowledge that we will potentially be moving on down. I can actually go ahead and just move this line up here now. so that makes a little bit more sense. We'll just do that and pull it down one. There we go. And then, of course, our lows have adjusted accordingly as well, right? We could be coming down all this way to 1 cent. Okay, that's a possible scenario. But we also still have our original wave counts coming down here as well, just taking us to 1.77. That hasn't changed. If I come up into our 4-hourly chart here, you can see this yellow box area. That hasn't really changed. That's still very much where we are thinking. But if this turns out to be some kind of bounce, we could potentially see this come down much lower towards that 1 cent range. I don't think that's likely, but it is still possible. So I'd just like to mention that to keep everyone aware of the different scenarios that could be at play here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and remove that. Now, at the point of recording this video, if I grab this and we move that up, we can see that we are negative 89% from the all-time high. Okay, so again, most retail investors will be adopting some kind of dollar cost average strategy. And, at these kind of values, it makes sense to slowly work our way in. But my expectation is that we come back down, and we are talking about going into those 90%, like 93% reductions. So, it can make a difference if you're a big baller and you're throwing serious cash at it, and you can get a lot more coins for your money. But if you're a retail investor with a full-time job, you're going to find it really hard to kind of time the market and take advantage of it that way. So a dollar cost average strategy seems to be what most retail investors go for, simply because it's easy to adopt. They can just throw small amounts of money at the market when they feel, it's a red day, for example, or they just want to kind of, buy that particular dip. And then over a period of time, what you'll find is your average price has reduced quite significantly. So you can start, let's hypothetically say, dollar cost averaging at 85% from all-time high, and then finish dollar cost averaging at 93% from all-time high. And essentially your average price will be somewhere between the two, probably around that kind of, 90% from all-time high, right? So you're not going to end up with paying, more. I guess you are going to be paying for more over time, but your average price will be reduced, not to the maximum potential, but to a decent level where you can see very significant gains in the future. So I often say, if you're a retail investor who doesn't really understand the charts, doesn't really want to get into monitoring the charts every single day, but, wants to have some kind of exposure to some cryptocurrency assets, a dollar cost average strategy is the way to go, in my opinion. But do check out, our Medium posts, our Discord, our Patreon services if you want to know more about those kind of strategies and things like that. But for the most part, Vechain's looking pretty good, and we are looking at some pretty good accumulation zones. And if it does come down to $1, I would expect that to be the true bottom. But I am looking at the moment at 1.8 to 1.7 as the area of main focus. So we'll keep an eye on that. And if we were to lose those supports, then of course we'll be coming down ever so slightly lower, where of course we'll be able to dollar cost average again. Some really good positions for Vechain. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.